Has there been a more impressive turnaround that you've seen in any sport in your lifetime than what Curt Cignetti's done in Indiana in 2 years?
I don't know. We were part of one. I got to be honest with you. A lot of this team brings, and Tarek, maybe you had some of this too, in watching Coach Cignetti throughout the season, the way he coached his players, the way his players respond. But then you listen to some of his players and how close-knit that team is. I mean, yeah, they went in the portal, and, they struck gold with Mendoza. I mean, there's no mystery about that with the quarterback. But the team itself is playing they are, one together, tight-knit unit. I mean, you watch them play, they're playing for the guys next to them, and it's impressive.
I echo that. Like, here, in this era, though, you have a team that comes together so fast, right? And I'll tell you, I looked at the roster. I think there's about 9 starters, okay, that are transfers.
Yes.
And so you have these other, 12 guys. So it's not just all and these guys aren't all just world beater 5-star. These guys are doers, workers. They are grinders. And what they've done is truly special, and it reminds me of Tarek,
I think Cignetti and his staff, hit the portal in what I call free agency, at the college level, of course, in a similar fashion that, a Belichick way, with the Patriots. Find guys that love to play the game of football. Tough nose, good character guys, team guys. And you're just watching it, and you couldn't think anything otherwise.
You can't commoditize this because of the war chest that other teams have. So you got to find the guys that are smart, tough, and dependable that fit into the culture.
In today's day, not just looking for the check.
Yeah,
that's the other thing.
And I know there was a little bit of joking about Mendoza's post game, but I took it as the passion. He's a little dorky. But he's so passionate. He cares so much.
But his old line love it, and I guarantee they break his balls too, because he has got a lot of Forrest Gump in him. But they love him for that. That's their leader.
That's their leader. Yeah.
And Cooper, the receiver, was the same way. He was just like, "Hey, we're roommates, and I'm roommates with his brother, and we're just workers, man. We're just go out and work every day." And you got to love that. That's why they're going to be
they're going to be tough to beat as a team.
The atmosphere for that Big Ten championship game was the best in years. Watching it on television and having a packed house. I saw tickets were going for $400 or $500 a piece. Whoa. All the Indiana fans who right smack dab in the middle of the state there in Indianapolis wanted to go and take it all in. And then for it to be as close a game as it was throughout the entirety of the night, and for Indiana to win it because Ohio State misses a chip shot field goal in the final minutes. They're settling for a field goal in the red zone, 27 yards, and the kicker who's been dependable all year pushes it wide to the left.
Feel bad for the kid.
That's your Big Ten championship. Indiana wins it 13-10. Not the offensive explosion that many expected to watch on Saturday night, but it was a fun game nonetheless. And Indiana, talk about good versus evil, David versus Goliath. You had the second losingest college football program of all time against the winningest college football program of all time. Indiana and Ohio State going at it. Ohio State regular
NIL
Big Ten champions.
Transfer portal changed the entire landscape. Flipped it on its head.
And I know they're quasi pros now. They are pros, but it's hard to get up every week. And for Ohio State to come off that Michigan game, which is like they haven't beat Michigan in 4 years, they poured a lot of effort into that. So to come back and play against Indiana, it's hard. So this playoff is going to be interesting because you'll see Ohio State resurrect themselves fast.
Oh yeah, they get that bye, and now they get to and they're pissed off. That's never good.
And Indiana's not Cignetti's not going to let them rest on their laurels.
No,
and they're coming. So it's going to make for a great playoff.
There is a chance that they could meet again in the national championship game as number 1 versus number 2, except the little numbers would be next to the opposite team if they were to meet again. So let's talk about the 12-team college football playoff bracket here. The 2025 bracket unveiled on Sunday morning. Indiana is the number 1 team. They are the number 1 seed. They earn a first-round bye. Remember, the rules are different this year. You don't need to be a conference champion to have a first-round bye. If the same rules were in place as last year, Tulane Tulane would have a first-round bye in this year's playoff. We'll talk plenty about that in a few minutes here. Indiana's the 1 seed, Ohio State's the 2, Georgia's the 3, Texas Tech is the 4. Those are your 4 teams with first-round byes. Before we review the rest of it, what do you think of those 4 teams? Of those 4, who do you think has the best chance to potentially win the championship here this year? Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia, and Texas Tech.
Well, I think those are the 4 best teams.
I think by far, yeah.
No doubt in my mind. In fact, fully expect them to be in the semifinals. The only, I think Alabama, Oklahoma, I think Alabama, might be able to match up, pretty well with Indiana. I think that would be a hell of a game. And it'll be a close game. So if Alabama upsets Indiana, I could maybe see that.
Yeah, that would be out in the Rose Bowl, by the way. Indiana will play against the winner of Alabama, Oklahoma. It'll be a fun atmosphere.
Alabama's not playing well at all.
No,
they have been leaking oil down the stretches.
I agree, but
analysts have said.
They're not a bad team. I'm looking for upsets. I don't think Oregon has a chance against Texas Tech. In fact, I think Texas Tech ends up in the national championship.
You think they beat Indiana?
I do.
Wow.
I think their defense is ridiculous. Ridiculous. The best in college football.
What they did to shut down BYU on Saturday was pretty wild.
They are a well-coached team, and they got some studs, and their defenses, they win championships. So.
Well, I'll give you the winner. The winner. Okay, so
okay, I'm going to go opposite in Vegas.
By the way, I'm the only one who can see what you're pointing at.
No, I'm about to articulate this. Okay.
Okay, I believe you.
Please articulate.
Miami versus A&M.
Yeah.
Right? Whoever wins that then plays Ohio State. The winner of that game is going to win the national championship.
So the winner of Ohio State, Texas A&M, Miami in the Cotton Bowl in the quarterfinal.
That's going out there on the list.
I think A&M. That's why I think Notre Dame deserved to be in it, but they didn't deserve to be in it, right? Because of the way it went on.
Yeah.
But the eye test and what I saw, the talent out of Miami and the talent at A&M, I think rivals Ohio State.
I don't know, man.
And then I think that they're going to be hot. And Georgia's
got some dudes.
They're the second best. I get it. Georgia's really good.
If Georgia and Ohio State, which I think they will end up in the semifinal, I think that is going to be a phenomenal football game.
That would be so good.
Yeah,
it would remind me of Ohio State, Texas last year, which was also a fantastic game.
Because Georgia played a physical football game against Bama.
All I know is Ohio State, those linebackers, they're all first-round picks. The defensive line, there's at least one or two first-round picks, and then the secondary is they are so loaded. I don't care what Georgia has. I know they're loaded. They got a receiver that's a 4.2 40. I just Ohio State's just I think the highest rated team.
They are. I mean, they're very good. And the fact that the committee didn't drop them from number 2 after they lost the Big Ten championship still says how highly they view Ohio State going into this thing. I think it stands out as we talked about the 4 teams that have the byes: Indiana, Georgia, Ohio State, Texas Tech. They're all loaded on defense. And so as much as college football is an offensive-oriented sport, we talk about the Heisman finalists who were just announced, 3 quarterbacks and a running back, but defense is what can be kind of the calling card for all 4 of those teams. As good as they are with some of the great players they have on offense, defense is what has propelled them to earning those first-round byes, and for 3 of them be conference champions.
Have you heard the lore of this Tech linebacker, how great he is?
No.
I mean, he's like I've watched some snippets and highlights because we don't get to watch Tech.
Yeah,
they're
barely ever on.
And you just hear about
they're the stealth bomber in this entire bracket.
So that middle linebacker has caused 7 turnovers in their favor over the last 10 games. 7.
It's crazy.
I mean that's a crazy ratio. So anyways, a lot of great football to watch.
Yeah, and the defenses, I think, are kind of the note. Which of those teams with those great offenses and those great quarterbacks can get over the hump and actually score points against some of those opposing defenses? I think that'll be a storyline.
Let me ask you this: so out of all the first round, who has the best chance to get to the semifinal? Out of the
8 teams playing on the opening in the
opening round. Because you have Texas A&M, Miami that will have to play Ohio State.
I'm going Miami.
So your 4 matchups.
You think Miami can beat Ohio State? Just after
the best chance. You said the best chance.
They have the best chance versus Alabama over in Indiana.
So again,
Wow.
think about it for a second. Your 4 matchups in the first round. James Madison is the 12 seed against
point.
Oregon, the 5.
They're the best team.
Oregon's going to win that one. 9 seed Alabama, 8 seed Oklahoma. That'll be played in Norman. That'll be a fun game. 2 SEC teams going at it again. Oklahoma beat them in the regular season, and they beat them last year too. 11 seed Tulane, the champion of the American. Head coach is going to go to Florida, but he's coaching Tulane in the playoff, as opposed to Ole Miss, whose coach left for LSU, Lane Kiffin, and is not coaching them in the playoff. That's a fun matchup. They actually played in the regular season.
Is the OC that stayed at
yes,
Ole Miss?
Charlie Weiss Jr., yeah.
Yeah, but he is going.
He's going to go, but
Kiffin.
he has permission to stay through the playoff run, yes. And then the final game, what many are saying will be the most competitive, is 10 seed Miami and 7 seed Texas A&M. That'll be played in College Station. So those are your 4 first-round matchups. So of those,
who do you
8
pick,
teams,
Jesse, out of those teams that can make it to the semifinal?
So Oregon is an interesting one because we know how they're going to beat James Madison. Like, James Madison doesn't belong in this field, but they're in it because the ACC stinks. So James Madison gets into the field. Oregon's going to beat them. They're favored by 21, I saw already this morning. So Oregon's going to win that one. If Oregon is healthy, rested, and what Dan Lanning can do coaching that team up, as good as Texas Tech's defense is, as good as this middle linebacker is, Oregon can put up some points on Texas Tech, I think.
I want to see it. I think that defense is really good. I want to see it, and they're physical. I think that's going to be a fun game to watch. 2 different styles. I don't know. I just, to me, and this is going off, what we're talking about a little bit, but I'd rather see a Notre Dame, a Texas, or a BYU versus Tulane and James
this
Madison.
Is the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
So we're expanding to probably 14, 16.
So let's talk about how the teams got into the playoff, because yes, the controversial thing was Notre Dame was left out, Miami was allowed in, and a lot of that is because BYU lost the Big 12 title game to Texas Tech. So BYU was ranked 11th. Notre Dame was 10th. Miami was 12th. With BYU out, Miami naturally slides up to 11. Then comparing them to Notre Dame, they played in week 1. Miami won the game. That's what the committee uses as justification to put Miami in the field instead of Notre Dame because of the week 1 result. What'd you guys think of that?
That's not the problem. The problem is JMU and Tulane are in this.
Right.
This is a joke. They shouldn't be in it. They don't deserve to be in it. And it should be Notre Dame and Vanderbilt should be in, or BYU, and it would be solved. We don't need to go 18 or whatever.
Texas would even have an argument.
One team would be left out, and then so what? That happens. Now you have these 2 jokers in there. It ruins the whole thing, all because of some bureaucratic group of commissioners.
We got to let the
and so there are fragmented leadership within all the commissioners of the league. They don't have they need a commissioner. They need to create a league that's going to create transparency and have the top 12 teams go in.
So correct me if I'm wrong. Of this commission, the head of it is the SEC commissioner. Is that?
He's the athletic director at Arkansas.
Okay, I'm sorry.
He's playoff chairman this year.
Yeah, but he's the chairman. I heard him, and he basically was interviewed and talked about what was the hottest debate. This was last week, and it was all about Notre Dame and Alabama.
Yeah, not Miami, right?
No, and what kind of dilemma they might have if Alabama loses. Do we punish them for playing in the SEC game? Which they shouldn't.
No,
but. You're sitting there, like, Notre Dame's one of the best football teams in the country playing right now, and them not being in this is a travesty in my mind.
But they took heat. The commissioner took heat.
4 points.
No, but
by 2 of the top teams in this.
Well, he took heat because they had Miami behind Notre Dame, and neither one of them played anyone. And so the question was, how do you have them behind Notre Dame and then make them ahead of Notre Dame
without either team playing a game, right?
And Reese Davis did a great job asking him that question. Really, he asked them 3 different questions about it. But in the end, Notre Dame doesn't play a very good schedule. They lost head-to-head. You can't set that precedent. And then, I mean, there's other factors too. But they had to hang on to that, and that's the way it went.
So
I can't argue with that.
Let me ask you, because Tarek, you were pretty hot here on James Madison and Tulane being in the field.
It's awful.
So the rule is the top 5, the 5 highest ranked conference champions get into the college football playoff. Yep. That was the same last year. Last year, you had to be a conference champion to earn a first-round bye, which is how Boise State got a bye all the way to the Fiesta Bowl, and Arizona State got a bye into the quarterfinal round as well. So that was looked at last year. It was confusing for fans. I thought it was actually a great system. I thought it made value apply to conference championship games. I loved it. I understand why pretty unanimously throughout the offseason they said, no, let's not do that again. So they just made it now the 12 best teams are then ranked by the committee and they're in, but they still kept that five highest ranked conference champion caveat in there.
What's the name of their conference, by the way?
James Madison is in the Sun Belt?
No, but isn't that Tulane? It's Tulane.
Tulane's in the American Conference.
Which one's the fifth conference?
The ACC.
Yeah.
The American and the ACC. The ACC is the Atlantic Coast. That's Florida State, Virginia, Duke, all that.
So Tulane and JMU are not in any of those.
They are in a group of 5 conference. Yeah.
Group of 5.
So there's the
group
power.
Of 5.
There's the Power 4, which are the Big 10, SEC, Big 12, ACC. Because Duke was a 5-loss conference champion that beat Virginia in the ACC championship game. They weren't going to put Duke in the field with 5 losses.
Yep.
So then Tulane with 1 loss only to the team they're playing here in the first round, Ole Miss. That's who they put in at American winner. They're for sure in, and then it was down to James Madison had to go in because they were the next highest ranked conference champion ahead of Duke. So that's how James Madison ended up in the field.
They need to go away. They need to take the top 12, the best.
So you're saying don't make conference championships basically worth anything?
Well, we got to reevaluate everything in the conference championship. Maybe they shouldn't even be playing in theory because a lot of them aren't. And the burden now, Ohio State and Indiana just beat themselves up. Oregon got to sit out. You could argue they're the beneficiary of that. So what are we doing?
So
there's a lot of problems that are going on. And this is just a microcosm of you got NIL, you have transfer portal, you have all these things going on, and it's a fragmented leadership. They need to align it. Create leadership and make good decisions.
I think the debate is why we love the sport, though, in a certain way.
No question.
Yeah.
And I'm not asking to go to 16. I'm not asking to go to more teams. Just have the same amount of teams. Just get rid of the ones that don't deserve to be in it.
So, what is James Madison? If that's how
just
what they do,
the conference deal. Just take the 12 best teams.
So if James Madison goes 12-0 and their best win is against
if they're the 12 best teams,
North Texas,
we know they're not though. Today we know they're not the best.
But
if they go 12-0 and the eye test and everything, then if they're underneath whatever metrics they decide, they're the top 12 team, then put them in.
This goes back to what the whole BCS debate was so many years ago. Boise State did everything they could, went undefeated, and then they didn't earn a right to play for a championship.
Underneath the metrics, if you go undefeated, you will be in this thing. Right?
So you're saying if James Madison has 1 loss, whatever they have, Tulane has 1 loss,
well, I don't know,
that's enough to say they're out.
The group of 5 doesn't deserve to be anywhere in this. They don't. The group of 5 is not.
So then what are they playing for every year?
They're playing for Division 2. It's like Division 2.
The only way that the group of 5, in my opinion, deserves to be in this is if you expand it. But to your point, if you want to take the top 12 teams, let the committee do whatever they do to evaluate that. And you have these rankings, and these Tulane and James Madison, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think James Madison's ranked. Tulane might be 23 or something.
James Madison and Tulane were both ranked in the final poll, yes, but they were in the 20s. I think James Madison was 24 maybe.
Yeah, okay. So
21.
That's what I mean.
They were in the bottom 5.
So take the top 12 teams for right now, and if you want to include the Power 5 to have Kumbaya, do it. But we got to expand it then. Group of 5, not Power
Group of 5
5
was like D2 when we were in college. This is they're like a second level down. They don't deserve to be in it. Shouldn't be about. They should have their own championship. And there's too many teams in that deal. You got to get them out.
Watch Tulane upset Ole Miss.
So,
right?
That'd be so funny.
But Tulane. Ole Miss could be checked out. Their coach left. They're all going to LSU for heaven's sakes.
There's no doubt Notre Dame, Ole Miss, and BYU, Oregon would be much more interesting and much closer first-round games than what we have here with Tulane and James Madison in the field. But what they are trying to protect is
the integrity
of the smaller schools having something to play for every year.
They're 2 different animals. They're 2 different types of
So you're saying the group of 5 schools, the Sun Belt, the MAC, the Mountain West, they should all get together and say, let's just do our own playoff at the end of the year.
Yes.
You know what? I kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's fair to all of
We
them.
have that replace the bowl system. Because the bowl system's going away.
You're going to take one poor team that maybe every 30 years might make it to the second round into the deal. One, instead of having a playoff amongst the group of 5 to become the national champion.
I think what's happened is 2 years in a row we've had something weird happen at the start of the college football playoff 12-team era. Last year it was Boise State earning the bye into the second round automatically. And this year, it's the ACC having a 5-loss conference champion. If Miami wins the ACC, none of this is a debate. You got Tulane playing Oregon, Notre Dame's in the field, the end. But because Virginia lost that game, all hell broke loose.
You answered my question. If JMU and Tulane were not in it, and you put Notre Dame and Vanderbilt or
BYU, whoever,
and one team's out, nobody would be upset. We could stay with 12.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go, people are saying 16, 18. We don't need all that. Just stick with 12, get it right, and get the transfer portal, NIL right, and football's doing great. College football.
It's a fun debate. It's a fun conversation. It was really interesting hearing all the different perspectives of it all weekend long as all of this unfolded. So I can't wait to hear.
But that is a prevailing thought.
Yes.
Through a lot of.
The bottom line is Tulane Ole Miss likely won't be a good game. James Madison, Oregon almost certainly won't be a good game, and that's not good for the sport. And so everybody will get together in the offseason.
So can we say we have bad leadership in college football and they're making poor decisions? Or do you get fired for that?
Is the sky blue?
This is the most obvious comment in the world, right? Yeah. So I'm glad you agree, though.
Can't wait to hear what Coach has to say about this when we talk to him next week about the college football playoff, because he's someone who served on that committee before. I can't wait to hear, even though it was a 4-team playoff when he served on it, I can't wait to hear what the insights are into that room.
Should we have a committee do anything? Like we need.
I think
committees are terrible.
Well, what do you want? You want ChatGPT to say, give me a bracket?
What does the NFL do?
I mean,
what does the NFL do?
Well, last year's playoff looked more like what the NFL does, where division winners get home games, and then you have the best record wild card teams.
There you go.
The problem is you don't play balanced schedules. You have all these different
let's balance it out. Let's balance out and have forget Wisconsin playing Eastern Michigan.
Yeah.
They should be playing more in their conference or playing someone else in another conference.
I think where this thing might end up, and I think Tausch has been one of the ones who's said this first, you're going to end up getting the Big Ten is going to be like the NFC, and the SEC is going to be the AFC, and you're going to have 30 teams in each one or whatever it is, and then you get to the playoff and you'll have the SEC bracket, the Big Ten bracket, and eventually you'll have the two champions play each other.
And then the Big 12 and ACC will merge into those two conferences.
And that's
the way it should be.
That's how this is going to
end
up.
Way to go, Tauscher, finally. Adding value.